The podcast is back after summer hibernation. How you doing, Deuce?
Finally drying out here. Happy to be back.
Feels like the East Coast has turned into Seattle the past month or so.
It's been wild, but we are finally getting rewarded. It is beautiful out today.
The nice weather is awesome, but it feels good to be back in the office getting ready for a football season, FedEx Cup, and obviously the Ryder Cup.
I don't know about you, but I was up early this morning, and there was that little bit of crispness in the air that smelled like football.
College football preview next week, but on tap for today is the recap of the golf year. Looking forward to the FedEx Cup, and I want to hear your thoughts on the Ryder Cup. But let's go backwards first. Give me your overall thoughts on what has transpired thus far in the PGA season.
So this year, I think you can sum it up. It depends on how you want to look at it. To me, the theme of the year is either parity or the lack of that all-time dominant guy. I think you can look at it either way. Some people see it as, we have 10 great players now or 12, and then the rest of the field is just so deep that it's hard for anyone to be dominant. Or you could take the look at the all-time greats would absolutely clean up in this type of environment. I think it's probably a little bit of both. We've had this discussion amongst ourselves. The fields are definitely deeper. There's more good players than ever before. I don't know if these great players, quote-unquote, are as good as the greats of all time. I'm not sure if we have that guy playing today.
Your thoughts on how the majors played out?
This is a weird one because we got some really good winners this year. I liked Shinnecock. Augusta is always good. Carnoustie was playing very different than we're used to seeing, so I thought they were interesting. The issue is that you end with the PGA on a horrifically boring course, and it kind of sours your view of the whole year. It's hard for me to look past how boring Belle Reve was.
I thought the course itself was okay, but not a PGA Championship stop.
Yeah, it's a St. Jude's stop or whatever. It's just a regular place. There's nothing different about it. There was not one hole that anybody watching is going to remember.
Tiger gave us...
So it produces good leaderboards. I get it, but the course, they need some sort of identity change.
Do you think they get it, moving it to the beginning half of the year?
Maybe. We're going to find out. I hope it snows. Then they'll really have an identity change. I think Bethpage in May could be really good. There's a chance it could be an all-time disaster if the course hasn't grown in yet, but I think it needed to do something, so something's better than nothing. If
they grow the rough in, it could play a lot harder than any stop on the PGA maybe next year.
Here in the Northeast, early May is... Sometimes you're only just beginning to start playing golf, especially in New York. The rough could be really green, really thick. It won't have any time to bake out at all. It'll probably be slower and softer than normal, but that rough could be really bad up there.
Slower and softer would make that course way longer, and then factor in the wind in May in New York.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. I do like the change in that aspect. You hit on it, the weather. You'll see less of those thunderstorms, less of the 100-degree bakeouts. I think you'll be able to control the course conditions a little more.
Obviously, at the PGA, we got a flashback of Tiger on Sunday. Your overall thoughts on Tiger this year?
Mm-hmm. I think it would be hard-pressed to find anyone that would say it has been anything other than a success. He contended. Contending's probably even a light word. He almost won and maybe should have won the British, and almost made a great run at Belle Reve. 12 of 14 cuts, 9 top 25s. His stats look really good. His driver is still an issue. It's been an issue for a while. I have a hard time seeing him not win multiple times next year if the back is the same as it is right now. I think he looks great.
I thought he was fantastic at the PGA. That was as solid as I've seen him in a long, long time.
If there's one thing you can say, first of all, the chipping yips he had a couple of years ago, completely gone. He's the best chipper pitcher on tour. His iron game is better than anybody's right now.
Yeah, I mean, Bellerive put that on display with how bad he hit his driver.
Yeah, unbelievable iron game.
Do you foresee him being able to make the proper changes with the driver?
It's been an issue since 2004, I want to say. The game has changed. Accuracy is not as important. I think he just needs to get the miss a little bit tighter, or at least one direction. I think he's got that pull miss and the high block, which is the two-way miss is what really hurts him. If he can get back to where he was in the mid-90s, where he just had the right miss, he's not going to hit 75% of the fairways. He's never been that way. I just think he needs to get where the other bombers are, quote-unquote, the DJs, the Koepkas, the Rorys, where they're hitting, upper 50s, maybe 60. I think that's where his comfort zone should be.
Your biggest surprise from this year so far?
So I wrote down 3 for surprises and disappointments to follow. Tiger was one of my surprises.
Sure, absolutely.
I don't think anyone knew what to expect. But I know he didn't win. But for me, to play this consistently and to contend at the level he did in the big tournaments, when I think even me, I thought he would not contend at a major. To me, he had a really surprising year in a good way. Brooks Koepka winning 2 majors after missing almost 6 months of the year. Pretty impressive. I know he's only won one other tournament in his career besides majors, but last 18 major starts, 3 wins, 14 top 25, 0 missed cuts. He is definitely the big game hunter of this generation. And how about Bubba? Coming off the worst year of his career by a lot, comes out with 3 wins when he's approaching the age of 40. He was one of those guys I worried about maybe just packing up shop, but 3 wins, pretty impressive.
How about on the other side as far as disappointments go?
Got some big names in this group. How about we start out with Mr. Spieth? No wins, which, if you're considered the transparent or transcendent player of your generation, the guy that might catch Tiger Jack, no wins and 140th in strokes game putting. I'm not sure anyone saw that coming, really. Sergio, major hangover, maybe adjusting to being a dad. 0 for 4 in majors, only 8 cuts in 16 events, less than $1 million in earnings. It's basically a Bob Estes type of year. And finally, how about our boy, Rick Fowler? No wins again. 1 win the past 3 seasons, and yet he's the 9th ranked player in the world. Somebody explain that to me.
Going back to Spieth, he had a couple wins last year. He looked okay. But is that year a couple years ago just an anomaly? Is this what Spieth is?
I think he's better than he is this year. I think last year is probably a better barometer. He did have a couple wins last year. He won a major. He also contended with frequency. He was second in 2 of the playoff events. He was second 2 other times. I think that is more what we expected from him. This year, 5 top 10s is, it's kind of just an average number, especially when you're not really contending. He quote-unquote contended at the Masters, but then he couldn't make the 10-footer when he really needed it. I think to me the more surprising thing with him is he hasn't really been close to winning all year.
Do you anticipate him rebounding at all? It seemed like every week people were asking, is this going to be the week he gets it back? Are one of these weeks in the FedEx Cup going to be the week that he gets it back?
I do think so. I thought this week he might pop. He had something going earlier today. He was 4 under through 8, and then he made a triple, which seems to be the story of his year. I do think one of these weeks he's going to pop.
we saw completely changing gears. We saw, not Appleby, Snedeker shoot 59 last week. Does 59 still mean what it used to?
How can it? I mean, we've had 4 of them in the last 4 years. I'm actually shocked this is even still a thing. I thought Jim Furyk shooting 58 would kind of end that allure, I guess you want to, or whatever you want to call it. But when 9 or 10 guys now have done it, why is it so magical? I don't really get it anymore.
Speaking of Furyk, that's a perfect segue into the Ryder Cup. As we currently sit here, let's first take a look at the American side.
Yeah.
Who are the qualifiers as we speak?
So the American qualifiers are set. These are already in. They've made the team. Koepka, DJ, Justin Thomas, Patrick Reed, Bubba, Spieth, Rick Fowler, and Webb Simpson. So that ended a couple weeks ago, and those are the auto qualifiers.
Who do you see as guys contending for those final spots?
So 4 captains picks. Tiger and Phil are, I think, 10th and 11th in the standings. To me, they are locks. There's no way you're passing on either one of those guys right now. So let's say that there's only 2 spots up for grabs. I think it gets pretty murky. I think this is one of the more interesting years to be captain picks because there's not 2 obvious names. I don't even think there's one obvious name. I think there's going to be a lot of factors that come into play. Furyk being the captain and it being an away game, I think tilted towards veterans. There's got to be someone in the room, though, that says, what does experience matter if that experience is 90% bad? If we're talking about Zach Johnson, Matt Kuchar, and all they have is losing experience, so why is that a good thing? I think one of them will probably get picked just because for the team room, they know everybody, everyone's comfortable with them. And I think one of the younger guys, whoever is highest in the standings, will get picked. For me personally, I think it should be Kisner and Finau. Gives you some youth. It gives you some really good putting and that match play mentality with Kisner. And I think Finau you can literally put with anybody with his ball striking.
Do you foresee Furyk just relying on the veterans, or can you see him seeing who the hot hand is in the FedEx Cup?
I think you have to see who the hot hand is. I think this is wide open. Right now, if you gun to my head, I think he picks veteran, at least one, just for stability reasons. But I think you have enough experience already on that auto qualifying team with Reed and DJ and Fowler, Spieth. I don't really see why you need the veterans anymore, especially when they've lost every time they've teed it up in the Ryder Cup, basically. I think you have to see who's playing the best, and usually that works out. It's not like a guy's playing great and then all of a sudden freezes up just because he's at the Ryder Cup.
A name that you did not mention, is he on the radar in Bryson DeChambeau?
He's definitely on the radar. He would be the next after the auto qualifiers in points. I still think he has work to do. He probably has more work to do than others because of his personality. He's tough to pair. Him and Tiger probably would be a pairing, but I don't think he fits with everybody, his personality. Like DJ would shoot 90 if he played with him. I could see him with Phil. He's a little harder to pair, so I think he's going to have to play a little bit better than some of these other guys.
Is there anybody completely under the radar right now that you could see being somewhat of a quote-unquote surprise pick?
It depends on your definition of radar. Most people don't know who Xander Schauffele is still. If he plays well in the playoffs, he's high enough in the points, I can see him getting a pick. There's always a guy that gets hot. Billy Horschel rule is kind of why we even have this. A guy like Horschel is starting to play better. I can see him getting hot. Honestly, the guy who was totally off the radar that could have been him was Snedeker. He won last week, but he withdrew yesterday with back spasms. So that kind of derailed his momentum. But he was the guy that could have made that type of run.
Flip-flopping to the Euros. Where do they currently sit?
Much less intrigue on this side. Their roster or their auto roster does not lock until the conclusion of next week's event. So there still could be some movement on this automatic qualifier. But right now, as it sits, Justin Rose, Rory, John Rahm, Alex Noren, Tommy Fleetwood, Francesco Molinari, Tyrrell Hatton, and Thorbjorn Olesen would be your auto qualifiers.
Who do you foresee the captain's picks? Who's in contention right now?
I cannot imagine this being much of a thought process. Stenson is going to get a pick, right? Everyone would agree.
Yes.
Poulter is going to get a pick.
Yes.
I think everyone would agree. He's had a terrible year, but Sergio is going to get a pick.
I would agree.
Think everyone would agree. And then, you have a couple guys that maybe could get into the conversation. But to me, number 4 is Paul Casey, and that's pretty much a no-brainer to me.
Any other names to keep an eye on that may sneak into Casey's spot?
Only guy I could see making a legit run, and that's because he's still playing, is Rafa Cabrera Bello. And he's a good player, but I just can't see passing on Casey for him.
How surprised would you be if Garcia, Poulter, or Stenson was left out?
I would be shocked. I know Garcia, Poulter, and Stenson, it's not even a question. Garcia, I guess there's that little bit of doubt because of how he's played. But given his history, I would be shocked. And month ago, I think they had the regular Euro Tour event, maybe 6 weeks ago. He finished 3rd there, so clearly is okay with the course setup and the course. I would be shocked.
We have a pending bet on the Euros at plus 125 in the Cup. Do you have any hesitation, or is there anything that has made you reconsider as we sit here right now?
No, the USA is very top heavy. Their heavy hitters are, you're going against DJ Koepka, Justin Thomas, Spieth, Reed. Those guys are tough to beat. I think they're going to be a handful. When you get down to Bubba, Webb Simpson's a really good player. Bubba, Webb, the Tiger, Phil, the 2 other captain's picks. I don't know. I think that's where the weakness comes into play. I would much rather have the Noren, Fleetwood, Molinari. I mean, then you're nitpicking on who their bottom is. Is their bottom their captain's picks? Stenson, Poulter, Casey? I'll take that all day.
Does the course set up for anybody in particular on the bottom half of the U.S. roster?
It would definitely benefit a guy like Kisner, accurate driver, good putter. I know Justin Thomas finished tied for third when he went over. Lots of 2 irons off the tee. So the course is set up. There's a ton of hazards. It usually plays pretty firm and fast. Lots of trouble off the tee. The rough is thick. It has favored in the past an accuracy guy and a great putter. So, not a ton of those on the American side.
Is there anything that you could see over the next month that would cause you some hesitation on our Euro bet?
Actually, yes. Injuries on the Euro team have popped up a little bit. Rose did not play 3 weeks ago because of a back issue. Stenson has the lingering elbow issue. To me, that's the Euro's strongest team. When Rose and Stenson are paired together, they're almost unbeatable. The little injuries, though, we'll see where it goes the next 3 weeks, but those would be a little bit concerning.
Well, we'll certainly keep an eye on that, and we'll have discussions leading up to it. Turning our attention to the present, FedEx Cup this weekend. Your thoughts on day 1 and what we've seen so far in day 2?
I don't like the FedEx Cup. Let's just get that out there. It's kind of just a made-up thing. No one really cares about it. The only thing worth being interested in is the courses. This week they're at Ridgewood, up in your neck of the woods in Jersey. Great old Tillinghast course. can't really just bomb and gouge. I think the leader right now is 7 under through 2 rounds, which on tour is fairly low. So the Tillinghast greens have been pretty fun. Seen a bunch of missed 3-footers. Next week they go to Boston. They always go there, kind of average. A couple weeks they go to Aronimink, which will debut a total restoration from Gil Hance. I've seen some pictures that look spectacular. Also in your neck of the woods in the Philly area. I think that will really shine on TV, actually.
Anybody aside from the Ryder Cup guys that we talked about that you're going to be watching over the next couple weeks? And then any names of note that need a good week in order to make it to next week?
There's not a ton of bubble boys. If you're looking at names this week, just to get that out of the way, Charlie Hoffman's probably your biggest bubble name. So, not a huge crop around that 100 mark, top 100, move on to next week. I think the only kind of semi-interesting story this week, Phil's didn't get attention, but, he's had a good year. Adam Scott is playing well again. He made a run to PGA. Right now he's sitting in 3rd at this week's tournament. I wonder if let's just say somehow he wins this week, if that sparks that discussion on that long putter again. I would like to see where that goes, because it's kind of just weird that we're not talking about it, because he's definitely anchoring it.
Yeah, I would agree.
There's no way he's not. So I would like to see where that discussion goes if he wins.
Any other golf notes that you'd like to touch on?
I don't think so, no.
Before concluding, I know we have a couple rounds in, or almost 2 full rounds, but a pick for the weekend this week.
Currently?
Yeah, as we sit here. Not knowing the odds.
I'll go, right now he's in the clubhouse at 5 under. He's teed 9. I'll take Jason Day the rest of the way.
There you have it. We will be back next week. College football preview, our over-under yearly picks. And our 4th season of the podcast begins.
I think this might be my favorite crop of over-unders we've done in the last few years. So, meaty special coming your way next week.
Could be a 3-hour preview.
Also need to get in we had a special guest pick last night, if you want to throw that out there.
Sponsored by Schiels Beverage.
Yeah.
Special pick was?
I believe it was Northern Colorado laying 14 to Hawaii. I could be wrong, but I think that was it.
It was either Northern Colorado or Colorado State.
Yeah, you're right. Colorado State.
Laying 14 tomorrow, I believe the game is.
Versus the Rainbows.
Correct.
Haven't looked into it one bit, but we'll go ahead and ride with our guest picker.
If it becomes an official, it'll be tweeted out.
I like that.
Great job by you today. Happy to be talking again and looking forward to year 4.
Yeah, hat tip to the host. Excited to be back.
We'll talk to you soon.
All right, see you, buddy.